What do you think about when you hear the words war in space? Thanks to Star Wars, it's easy to imagine racing across the galaxy, shooting pew-pews at each other, and often missing. But actual space war probably wouldn't look like that, at least not for a long, long time. Then again, Star Wars creator George Lucas was heavily inspired by the reality of war and tyranny on Earth in imagining his epic battle in the skies. Lucas's story of empires and senates, complex trade politics, hidden motives, and sand that just gets everywhere may not be far off from how space war would unfold, lightsabers not included. So, what does war in space mean today? And how can we prevent it? I'm Sarah Smay, and this is Space for Humans. Right now, when we think about space, we typically mean satellites used for imagery, communications, and navigation. You know, like the satellites that help us watch over the environment, protect human rights, and send each other cute puppy videos. Aww. Any attacks or threats to these satellites are akin to cyber warfare, satellite jamming, anti-satellite weaponry, and of course hacking. Given this, it's more accurate when dealing with space to think not of war, but of different levels of conflict or security risks. There is a large gray zone between armistice and conventional war known as hybrid warfare. Hybrid warfare refers to a full spectrum of strategic methods mastered by industrial superpowers, China, Russia, and the US to achieve their geopolitical goals through aggressive, non-conventional actions. It's basically what Prussian General Karl von Clausewitz was referring to when he called war the expression of politics by other means. Escalation in the context of space could happen extremely rapidly, and with several countries having nuclear capabilities, we have to be mindful of potential apocalyptic consequences. That's where efforts like the currently sponsored Prevention of an Arms Race in Outer Space Treaty and the Outer Space Treaty of 1967 come in to prevent these kind of escalations. Since space is inhabited by both government spacecraft and private companies, there is always potential for hostilities in orbit. For example, a satellite providing internet service to a country under siege can become a very attractive target to opposing forces. As more countries and companies send crafts into space, competition for orbital locations, radio spectrum allocation, and access to space resources will increase. Keeping the peace will also become an increasingly complex objective. There's this idea that there are steps we can take towards de-escalation, both preventing potential wars and finding peaceful solutions. And in many ways, it works. Through de-escalation, we've avoided the global wars between superpowers that marred the 20th century and preserved a state of what we call relative peace. Today, the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space at the UN is tasked with governing the exploration and use of space for the benefit of all humanity, for peace, security, and development, and maintains responsibility for international cooperation in space. But there are some who think that international efforts will be largely ineffective while the space superpowers continue to increase their arsenals and develop new space weapons and tactics. When it comes to space, we're in an era of escalation. So that begs the question, how do we maintain space peace and prevent space war? This is a complex problem. There are many different approaches that we'll explore more in our series. Ideas include strengthening legal frameworks, establishing internationally acceptable conduct in space, sharing space situational awareness among nations, and continuing focused discussion. War sucks. It exacts a devastating toll economically, socially, and in human lives. That's why using space for peaceful ends and preventing further militarization of space is so important. Together, we can build a future in the stars without the wars, and hopefully with the cute robot companions too. Aww.
If this episode brought you a little peace of mind, leave a like, share the link, and subscribe to the channel to be notified of more great content from Space for Humans.